right from your .com boom to AI or physical to digital, from local to global, and last but not least, firmness to agility. I think if you see, a lot of tech has evolved over the period of time. Some obviously sustained the pace, some were replaced.
With AI coming into picture, machine learning taking the center stage, and automation has already made its mark. So how do you envision all of this? And within, at the core of that is business. So what are your thoughts?
Okay, I will put it as a, if you ask me, I'll put it as a triple A. What is triple A?
Which
right?
is?
Triple A.
Okay.
It's like accept, adopt, and adapt.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's accept, there is a need to change. It's accept the need of business for a new technology.
Right.
The need of business to enable their value by using the right technology. The second is adopt. You have to upskill, you have to change the mindsets, you have to implement. And the third thing is adapting, right? So I think these three things are very important for the new C-suite leaders. I would say they should be very, very agile. They should have a mindset of understanding that change is never constant.
Right.
You should be open to accept, adopt, and adapt. They should also be very focused now to know the business, which is very important. The earlier CTOs and CIOs were more focused on a technology part of it. But I always say now you have to have the business or domain knowledge. And that's why probably, me coming from a mechanical background, it helps me a lot of time to understand the business processes and the functions. Or when they talk about a machine, I at least know what they're talking about. So I think this is the mantra. They should be agile. They should accept, they should adopt, and they should adapt and upskill themselves. Simple as that. And focus on business. They should understand the business.
Hello and welcome to the mainstream. I am Simran Shivalkar, your host for today, and we are back with the latest episode of CTO Unplugged. Today I have with me Mr. Mandar Sahastrabudhe. Firstly, Mandar, thank you so much for joining us today and being a part of the series.
You're welcome.
Well, I'll quickly take a moment to introduce Mr. Sahastrabudhe. Although he needs no introduction, I will take this opportunity to share a few things about him. Shall I?
Sure, please go ahead.
Thank you. Well, to begin with, Mr. Mandar Sahastrabudhe is currently a Group Chief Technology Officer at Kirloskar Management Services and also a Cybersecurity Advisor for the Maharashtra State Skill University. And in today's episode, I am more than thrilled to have this conversation with him. He's also an esteemed leader known for his visionary approach to bridging the gap between current technology and the innovations of tomorrow. His expertise lies in ensuring enterprises staying agile, optimizing technology strategies, as well as building high performance teams. With an extensive experience in enterprise IT strategy, emerging technologies like AI as well as IoT, along with cybersecurity, he has been a trusted advisor to C-suite executives across the globe, shaping and driving transformational initiatives. Today, we'll take a deep dive into his dynamic experience, his journey, understand his vision and his ideas with the evolving IT landscape and cybersecurity, and also the role of emerging technologies in driving business growth and agility. Mr. Sahastrabudhe, thank you so much once again, and welcome to the new episode of CTO Unplugged. Well, let's begin with your journey. You have had a remarkable career bridging technologies which are, emerging along with innovations. Can you tell us a bit about this journey and how has this intersection of emerging tech along with AI, IoT, and cybersecurity been throughout the years, especially in the domain that you're specialized in?
Sure. So I think first of all, thank you for inviting me for this episode. It means a lot because I have been associated with Mainstream right from the events earlier also.
Right.
Mainstream is known for delivering the good quality content, and that's why I like Mainstream, right? So thank you first of all. Just to answer your question, and also thank you for the nice introduction you gave about me. Yeah. To answer your question, I'll take a leap where I started from, right? Let's go to my journey, and then probably I'll come to answer your question about, what excites me more about the intersection of the emerging technologies. Okay.
Absolutely.
I think I've been few of the luckiest ones of that generation which saw, the exciting times in the change in the technologies. So what I mean by that, right from your .com boom to AI or physical to digital, from local to global, and last but not least, firmness to agility. I think if you see, a lot of tech has evolved over the period of time. Some obviously sustained the pace, some were replaced. Okay. So how do I relate my journey when I see these changes in the technology advancement? So I had done my graduation in mechanical engineering. I have also done my MBA in finance. So if you see, it's kind of a journey for me from going from mechanical background to the IT background. That's my journey has been. I always started with career in a mechanical design engineer, but my passion for IT, made me to take a path of the IT. That's where, it forced me. And I started with the PLC programming. So I started with the PLC programming. I learned the domain of a mechanical design there. From there, when I learned the PLC programming, which was a new technology at that point of time, I'm talking about 20, 25 years back, it was an emerging technology. And then from there, my actual journey into the IT started. From there, I moved to a domain of a telecom domain, which was my company in telecom domain, wherein, I got to learn and work more on a IT infrastructure part of it, which made me understand what does the IT infrastructure look like end to end. I could do hands-on on the IT infrastructure there. Obviously, that point of time, the cyber crimes were on the verge of ever erupting. It was just started.
Right.
That made me to think that how do I use this opportunity to probably serve the society and the country, because I always had a dream of joining the forces, which I couldn't do, but I thought this is the right way to serve the citizens and the country. And that's why I did some courses which were pertaining to the cybersecurity at that point of time. It was primarily focused on cyber crime investigation and forensics. From there, my gear shifted from IT infra to becoming expert on the cybersecurity, actually, wherein I was lucky enough to also work with some lawmakers and enforcements to work with them for the investigations. And obviously, in that telecom domain, then I shifted to a company which was more of a product testing, offering product testing for different domains, it be healthcare, food safety, etc., and which gave me a complete canvas of domains and how do I enable the technologies for that canvas, wherein I actually learned the digitalization and the application development. So that's how my journey has been, with the baby steps, giving me the right opportunities at right time because of the changing technological landscape and the needs from and giving me the end-to-end IT from infra to cyber sec to application development to digitalization. So that was about journey which you had asked. Now, you also said that what excites me more, right? And what's about the emerging technologies like AI, IoT, and their potential impact on industries. Now, if you see the technologies, as I said first, the technologies would always be generated, they would be operated, and then they would probably decline. So I always give an example of a god there. It's like generate, operate, and destroy, right? Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. But I call it as generate, operate, and disrupt. Okay, so that's the analogy. It's also God. Technology also God, but it's generate, operate, and disrupt, not destroy. Some technologies decline. But if you talk about particularly about AI and IoT, I think IoT, if you see, has sustained over the years. It's actually not new. Like we started with 1.0 as a revolution. We have reached now industry 4.0.
4.0.
4.0, and people are already talking about industry 5.0,
Correct.
which means it has sustained over the periods. It has
Yes.
actually disrupted the business. So why I'm excited that this would continue, because this would always be a business enabler. It's not a standalone technology. It's going to be a business enabler. That excites me because it also touches all the functions in the manufacturing. If you see all the functions in different domains, when you talk about the IoT, it could also be in the healthcare. It could also be in the devices you use at home. Correct. So it has touched all the domains, end users, consumers, factories, everything. I think that excites me. It's going to be sustained even after the generations. The name might change from industry 5.0 to something else, but the concept remains same. Same talking about the AI. See, intelligence was always there. It was HI. Now we have developed our HI to AI to enable us on a right intelligence and making the business decisions at the right point of time with the right set of parameters. Correct. So AI will always be there as a co-pilot. HI will be always the pilot. That's how I'll put it. So AI also touches all the business and domains. If you see, AI is applicable right from your consumers to the end users to everything. If you really think about AI, see, we started using Google Maps pretty long, right?
Correct.
But then, have you ever thought that this Google Maps with such a great algorithms, how do they exactly calculate the distance to reach the destination? That's the algorithm. That's the AI. So we also had the journey of macros to automation to AI. Correct. So AI was there in bits and pieces. Now I think it is being matured. It is being used widely, and it is now actually enabling the business with the right use cases. So I think that's what excites me about the AI and IoT. They will be sustainable for a long way. They are going to help us in the faster decision makings. They are going to help us in all the domains, may it be end user to consumers to everything. I think that excites me.
Thank you so much for giving us a glimpse into this journey. Like you also said, that cybersecurity is a growing concern for enterprise worldwide, and it has also picked up from the recent years. It is now a business enabler or a business enabling tool. From your role, you've also been an advisory for cybersecurity space. How can businesses better align their cybersecurity strategies with the overall rising threat landscape, and at the same time also maintain that level of operational efficiency? If you could throw some light on that.
Okay, I think brilliant question. See, I always say that cybersecurity is going to be the need of the hour. Again, it's going to be, you have to continuously evolve. The
Correct.
technology will change. Earlier, what was called as EDR now probably has called as XDR, for example, right? So it is changing, it is evolving. But what is very important for us is, have I assessed my organization's maturity levels in the cybersecurity? That's most important. Starting point is, where am I right now, and what is the goal? No, it could happen that I'm on a cybersecurity maturity level of 1 and I have to reach 5. So how do I go there? Then I have to plan it as a phase wise. I mean, see, no point in going with each and every technologies which promises me that it will help me to tackle the rising threat landscape. Correct. I also have to look at the operational efficiency, as you rightly said. Now, what will bring me the operational efficiency is adoption of the right technologies
Correct.
for the right value to the business, which means I'm not burdening business just by taking a technology, but I'm also ensuring the operational efficiency. So it has to be planned on the business priorities. It has to be planned on the business objectives of having the right security level. So I am protected
Right.
for burdening them. That's how I will put it, right? So plan it in the phase wise, plan it on the business priorities, and also balance it with the rising threat landscape. I think that's the approach we need to take.
Next, I want to understand from you. You also have a deep experience in PNL as well as technology governance. Any key practices or best recommendations that you would want to offer to the up and coming tech leaders or CTOs, where they need to find the balance when it comes to driving innovation as well as maintaining that kind of fiscal responsibilities, especially when implementing cutting edge technologies in today's digitally active era?
So I think the innovation, or whether it's a cutting edge technologies, you should be focused on driving the business outcomes.
Correct.
It all drives to that. So as the CTOs, when you're focusing on the fiscal responsibility or specifically budgets and PNL,
Right.
it's more important that how do I align the IT as a IT BP? Same concept as you have HR BP. I think it's now time to go from bots to bits. Okay. Bot was IT. Now it's business plus IT. So I
Correct.
always say it's the time to go to IT BP. Same like your HR. Why don't we have IT BPs? We should have, right?
Right.
Means there will be a dedicated SPOC who will be focused on ensuring that the business problem is solved with the right solution, ensuring that it fits into the right fiscal budget given to me, at the same time enabling business to deliver value. It shouldn't be that I just adopt a technology just for the sake, because world is going there. So take an example of cloud. I mean, people quickly joined the wave of cloud. They took everything to the cloud, and then realizing that it's going to hit them, it's going to hit their top line, they all started bringing back to the on-prem. So you have to wait in a ROI, you have to wait in a terms of the business values, and then take the right decision, that what's an alternative I can adopt so that I enable business, but at the right time it also ensures that the right solution is given in the right budget.
Right.
I think I'll put it in that way if I answered it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, coming back to your journey, you have a major background in leading international teams. I want to understand from you, how do you manage the challenge of, fostering innovation and collaboration, or building that kind of culture with global technologies and organizations overall?
Okay. So I would say that, my earlier role was into heading the IT for the APAC. And which means it always started with a challenge of, I mean, team was APAC, my headquarter was Germany, and I also had a counterpart in US. So it pretty much covered the globe. Now, which means it was very tough to deal with the different time zones, different cultures, different mindsets, and the different priorities of the region. Okay. So what I mean by that is, when I started dealing with the different stakeholders from the region, I understood that probably when I say X, it could be Y to somebody else in their culture.
Correct.
Right. So first step was to learn and adapt to their culture. That's how I started. The second was to know what expertise that region brings. And then third was that how do I collaborate and ensure that all the stakeholders come on the same page. So which means even dividing the task to a modular level, saying that this module would be delivered. I'm just taking an example, right? So this portion of the work would be delivered from Japan because they have the expertise in that, while the integration probably would be done by the India team because they have expertise in that. And at the same time, also looking at the overlapping time zones and the culture, right? So the Asian culture probably would be more aligned when I talk about other cultures. So also ensuring that they both also work on a common objective or a common task, correct? In fact, I had to learn German because my headquarters were German. So I also went to the extent of adopting that. And I like to learn languages, so that's not a problem. But I'm saying basically you should understand the culture, you should understand the expertise of that region, and then probably try to put your strategy across the stakeholders. Now, very important, as I said, also is to know that what is the expertise in that region.
Correct.
So for example, when we were dealing with one of the projects, we knew that these people are good in the design. So we had outsourced the design part to somebody else. While we knew that somebody is good in prototyping. So prototype was done there. While the communication to the stakeholders and customers was done by another region. So that's how, knowing the culture, knowing the expertise of that region, knowing the priorities of the region, we are divided tasks. Now it's also important to understand when it comes to a technology, there could be a compliance and the regulatory needs for that region. For example, very crude example, but the right example, I would say. When we were deploying, when we decided that whether we should have a web application firewall or a firewall in a region, obviously that region had that compliance of having a physical firewalls from that country only. You understand? Then we had no choice, but we had to change our solution design so that everybody else is on WAF, but they are on a physical firewall.
Right.
One country doesn't allow you to use VPNs. Second allows you to use the VPNs.
Correct. Correct.
All this balancing has to be done based on the cross-cultural country needs, their expertise, their time, and then collaborate across the stakeholders. I think that's how we should go about.
Absolutely. I think, and rightly, like you pointed out, it's the business culture across that matters, and that what's make the difference. No matter what
I think
vision.
just to add, the important thing is tap the scale of the demographic. Simple as that.
Correct. Correct.
I
Absolutely.
think sum it up.
Right. I mean, different geographies and the different cultures, the way organizations work in would definitely have an impact on, the way innovation is looked at and the way cross-functional teams even function in any particular organization. So definitely, I would agree on that. Lastly, before we wrap up, I have another question for you. Being a leader in this domain for so many years now, how do you see the role of tech leaders evolving, or especially CIOs, CTOs? How do you see this role going beyond the primary functions, going beyond digital transformation with AI coming into picture, machine learning taking the center stage, and automation has already made its mark. So how do you envision all of this? And within at the core of that is business. So what are your thoughts?
Okay. I will put it as if you ask me, I'll put it as a triple A. What is triple A?
Which
Right?
is?
Triple A.
Okay.
It's like accept, adopt, and adapt.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's accept there is a need to change. It's accept the need of business for a new technology.
Right.
Accept the need of business to enable their value by using the right technology. The second is adopt. You have to upskill, you have to change, you have to change the mindsets, you have to implement. And the third thing is adapting, right? So I think these three things are very important for the new C-suite leaders. I would say they should be very, very agile. They should have a mindset of understanding that change is never constant.
Right.
You should be open to accept, adopt, and adapt. They should also be very focused now to know the business, which is very important. The earlier CTOs and CIOs were more focused on a technology part of it. But I always say now you have to have the business or domain knowledge. And that's why probably, me coming from a mechanical background, it helps me a lot of time to understand the business processes and the functions. Or when they talk about let's say they talk about a machine, I at least know what they're talking about. Because see, what happens if you come from a typical IT focus and an IT background, you will be just focused on a particular thing. You would never have the wide horizon of knowing what's happening across and why am I working on this project.
Correct.
And unless you know end-to-end business goal, you cannot deliver the value. That's what I feel. Correct. So I think this is the mantra. They should be agile. They should accept. They should adopt, and they should adapt and upskill themselves. Simple as that. And focus on business. They should understand the business. I think I will sum it up in this way. If it's
Wonderfully put out. I think that goes for all the sectors, not just tech, but
yeah.
change is the only constant, like you rightly said. So thank you so much for being so candid about your journey, about the challenges that you have come across, and putting out some critical insights in this episode.
Sorry, Simran, and the last thing I forgot. I mean,
Absolutely.
and it was very important. Also, the C-suite should now know that the tool they have in hand, right? That's a mantra. It's data. I always say,
which is the new oil now.
you call it a new oil. I call it a new soil. Okay, because soil cultivates many businesses.
Yes.
Right? Soil would cultivate new plants,
Correct.
cultivate new business. Tomorrow, you never know that there will be businesses selling the curated data for healthcare. Some might come out with the innovation of selling data banks. You never know. I mean, there are
Never
so
know.
many possibilities. So to sum it up, I always say the tool or the mantra CIOs and CTO have in hand, and that's my tagline. It's data, data hai. Okay, data, data hai. Kya data hai? It gives you a power of experimentation,
Correct.
power of conviction, power of decision making. That strong it is. So always remember data deta hai. That's the mantra for the new C-suite. Thank you.
That is the ultimate mantra. And thank you so much, Mr. Sahastrabudhe. This conversation has been thoroughly engaging, and I am sure today our viewers and listeners will take a lot from this session. Thank you so much for your insights, and I look forward to connect with you again.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.